Hey, what's happening, guys? So I'm a couple of days late with this one because of traveling, but Forest have well and truly silenced the critics from August in stunning fashion over the last couple of weeks, and I want to address the three defining factors behind their revival. First and foremost, Steve Cooper. The Welshman has kept the club in the Premier League against all odds by betting in 29 signings over the course of the campaign, while simultaneously having to deal with constant noise surrounding the safety of his job. Honestly speaking, turning a bunch of strangers into a cohesive unit while competing against some of the best opposition on the planet is an achievement in itself, and staying up while doing so is nothing short of a miracle. His man management was clear to see, as Renan Lodi, who broke down in tears after the Arsenal victory, was given time off to fly to Brazil last month in the midst of a relegation dogfight to witness the birth of his child. Furthermore, Cooper has bought into the city, supporters, and history of the club like no other manager since Brian Clough, who he happens to have pictures of up on his office wall. As I've mentioned both in my previous videos on here as well as Forest Fan TV, I think calls to sack him by a vocal minority were absolutely ludicrous, and large parts of the fanbase who stuck by him have been rewarded for their patience. The shit-starring knobheads in the media should be apologizing to both Cooper and Forest for slandering them at the start of the season and convincing the general public that what they were doing was terrible for football without even attempting to understand the context behind their promotion and the number of players they lost during the summer. I always thought that was a strange stick to beat them with, by the way. Surely it's better to see a club being ambitious and doing everything in their power to try and stay up, rather than remaining stagnant in the market and seeing results fading because of it. QPR often used as an example of big investment going tits up, but the key difference was that they decided to replace all the players who helped them get promoted in the first place with past-it prima donnas looking for one last payday. So it's not a logical comparison at all. Not to mention Forest spent less on all these players combined than PSG dropped on someone like a Neymar. So if you want to point fingers about transfer fees going out of control and the sport going to shit, it's best you start off with the state-backed clubs. Moving on to the second key factor, which was Morgan Gibbs-White, a player Cooper wanted to sign more than any other. Obviously, huge credit has to go to names like Felipe, Awoniyi, Brennan Johnson, Ryan Yates, Serge Aurier, and Danilo for their contributions towards helping guide their side to safety. But I wanted to highlight the former Wolves midfielder because I recall every man and their dog taking the piss out of his transfer fee. Well, guess what, mate? He's been worth every bloody penny, with the likelihood, taking his age and inexperience into account, that the best is very much yet to come. In fact, his ability to grab games by the scruff of the neck through sheer drive and determination hasn't gone unnoticed on the international front, and it's only a matter of time before he's in one of Southgate's squads. What I love about this bloke is that he combines flair and artistry with grit and graft, which isn't something you can say about too many players within the modern day game. There's plenty who've ended up with egg on their face when it comes to Gibbs-White, and the narrative that Wolves got the better deal can go out the window, as Forest are the ones who've landed themselves a bargain. Last but not least, the third factor, and perhaps the most important one, which was Forest's fan base. While supporters of other struggling clubs have been busy throwing their toys out the pram every fortnight, the Forest faithful have stuck by their team through thick and thin, and it's their home form which has seen them over the line. For those who perhaps don't follow Forest and may be unaware of this statistic, Forest have been the worst away side in the league, picking up a mere 7 points on the road in 18 games, yet are all the way up at 10th in regards to home form, hovering only just below the likes of Brighton and Brentford, who've had their best ever Premier League seasons this campaign. The patience they've shown as a collective has been a sight to behold too. Only Chelsea with 46 injuries have had more than Forest 45, yet I can't recall them ever turning on an underperforming player, even though the likes of Lingard and Shelvey have been nowhere near the required standard. They're also clearly the reason Marinakis didn't pull the plug on Cooper on several occasions, and I'd argue are the most influential set of supporters in the top flight right now, both on and off the pitch. Needless to say, I'm buzzing that Forest are staying up. While I've got to hold my hands up and admit I've missed a lot of their games this season, I've been following the last 10 or so religiously because of both the relationship I've developed with the fan base, as well as the fact that it's brilliant for the league to have one of the biggest clubs in the country staying right where they belong. I'm almost certain Forest are going to be kicking on from here, and with a stable dressing room now in place, a top-half finish for 2023-24 isn't out of the question. As always, I'd love to hear your thoughts down below, and I'll catch you in the next one, folks. Peace.